Okay.
Yeah.
We're back, Drew.
Yeah, we are.
Red Leaf Retrocast, but it's the Modern Games Cast, episode
Still
14.
is. Episode 14.
September 2018 game releases, and some news that go along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Last
bad,
month.
right? We've been losing.
I remember what happened last month.
We've been losing sleep, losing a lot of things, as I check if everything on the live stream is working correctly, and it is. Hooray.
My live stream, I'm streaming in 1080p for the first time in a good while, so.
I even got the Twitter feed up of the podcast, so things are good. I think I'm coming down with another chest cold. I might lose my voice later this week. That's not good.
I'm not.
I might have to.
Tea.
I might have to drink a lot more tea than usual. Might have to tone down my usual out of house voice that I tend to like using.
Yeah, you like that out of house. You like that boom trap stuff, man.
Yeah, gotta do that. So we're here. We got Tokyo Game Show post news coming out, and September releases such as some Spooderman, some Tomb Raiders.
Man, Spooderman was the top of the month. It
broke God of War's record, I believe, for PlayStation.
I think Spider-Man is more polarizing than God of War. No offense to God of War. More people are interested in Spider-Man than God of War.
You mean mainstream?
Mainstream, yeah, but
polarizing is not the right word I would use.
Yeah, no, right. I'm still young. Haven't read the dictionary yet. My bad.
Didn't have to take that SAT.
I didn't take the SAT. You're right.
There you go. Answers that. Yeah. Okay, shall we get started, Drew?
Yeah. What do you mean?
All right.
Let's do it.
Some good news was PlayStation VR had its anniversary sale. Not sure if you were aware of that.
I probably didn't have my PS4 at this time. I think I saw something like that on Twitter, though.
Yeah, it was a lot of people were posting about it. A lot of PSVR fans, anyways. I had people tweeting at me, "Are you gonna get anything, JD, from the PSVR sale?" And I go, "Well, I might now."
I have a GameStop. There's a $200 pre-owned PSVR, and I've been eyeing it for a while. But I got so much Call of Duty to play that I wouldn't have time to touch my PSVR. So,
well, the thing is, when you get the PSVR or any VR in general, you really got to dive deep into it, and I recommend definitely demoing it beforehand to see if that's the kind.
Well, I mean, I've demoed VR plenty, you know.
Yeah,
but it's just
what I'm saying is I'm saying to the audience, you should demo it and decide then if those games you demoed really resonate with you, if that's the kind of direction you want to take your gaming experience, because it really is an experience.
It's a very big step, you know.
So I went on to the PlayStation Network. I've had a number of VR titles on my wish list for quite some time, because let's face it, a lot of them aren't very long and they're not worth that price of entry, but as soon as they go on sale for, you know, a nice little penny price there, and yeah, definitely hop onto them. And I got 3 games, Drew. You wanna?
What games did you get, bro?
Well, I got a I really like the puzzle games that are on VR. Somehow that's because
I want Portal and Puzzle so bad. Or Portal in VR.
So there was a game called 18 Floors that came out a number of months ago, and I've had my eye on it. Price of entry wasn't worth it because the game was kind of unfinished, you might say. There's only 2 floors that you could play.
Right.
But I got like 2 hours out of the game. You start in a room and you're just solving puzzles to get out of the room, right? So two things happened during this playthrough of 18 Floors. First of all, the puzzles are doable. I was more or less having kind of a brain fart with them all, to be honest. It was my own fault, not the game's.
Right.
But 2 things happened. I didn't know that there was a nice little teleportation button that you could use to pick up an item off the floor in case you drop it. So I was struggling getting the PSVR camera to be in view of me actually trying to pick something up off the ground. So I was trying to, say, break the game controls to get something off the ground. It's quite funny. I streamed it.
No, yeah, that sounds hilarious. I popped into one of your streams when you were in VR games, and it took me like 10 minutes to realize you were in VR and couldn't see the chat. So then I left.
Well, that's that's what happens. When you play a VR game, you just kind of you're in it for the experience, including the viewers. It was the anniversary, so I figured I'd stream the games I got. The second thing that happened in 18 Floors was I was screwing around with a hammer that I got on the second floor. And I was like, in case of not being able to solve puzzle, break glass. So I was jokingly trying to hit and break the glass with the hammer, but it wasn't happening. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, the hammer phased through the glass, and I couldn't get it out.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder how polished VR games are, in all honesty, because they're mostly
some of them are. We'll get to one later that's very heavily polished. The Persistence we covered a couple months ago, that was polished.
Yeah, that sounded polished. That was one of the best VR games I've heard of. Like, from you specifically. What you were saying about that game, I really was interested in it.
Yeah.
And that'd be definitely one I picked up if I got a PSVR.
So the hammer phased through the glass. I couldn't get it out. It was totally busted. And you need that hammer to unlock a door on the second floor. So I had to just shut the game. So at that point in the stream, I went, well, I guess 18 Floors is over. So I'll go back to it and finish it another time. I did quite enjoy it. It only cost me like $5, so that was nice.
Right.
So
that's good.
That was worth it. I think it was $20 when it was released. That's not worth it. $10 a floor. No thanks. The other game I got was To the Top, which is a
that sounds spooky.
No, it's a parkour game. Where
that sounds really spooky.
There's
parkour in VR sounds terrifying, dude.
There's an
end goal. You ever play Windworld? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, there's an end goal to each level. You're on a series of levels, and you just try and get there the fastest. And there's a number of different, items you can collect as you parkour through the level. Use the move sticks, just like you would in most VR games. That's how I prefer my VR games, is with the move controllers. Makes it more interactive.
Right.
And that game was really fucking fun. That's definitely one of my, if I was to make like a top 25 PSVR games list, that would be cracking my list. That was super fun. Of course, after playing 2+ hours of 18 Floors, I was already getting kind of motion sick. Because that's what happens when you're in that kind of environment for a number of, an amount of time. You start getting sick regardless, because you're moving in this world, but your body isn't, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, unfortunately, for the stream purposes, I couldn't play that game that long. But I went back to it a few days later and played more of it. That game was just super, super fun. Collecting the items, finding different ways to traverse each level to try and, get to the end goal faster, seeing, what you place on the leaderboards. Super fun stuff. It's very simple. It's a simple mechanic that works quite well. And then the third game was one of the originals. It's called Thumper, a rhythm game.
Oh yeah, and that was when I was watching you play.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated with that game, dude. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, so you're just a little beetle on like a Hot Wheels track, and you're just going down the track, matching beats of the music playing to certain turns and obstacles to avoid.
If you're trying to get your inheritance early, that's the game you let your grandparents play. So, just saying. That game is crazy.
That game was super fun. That was like $2. It was like 90% on sale or something. So I hopped on that immediately, because that's been on my list for a while. That's a game you don't even... That's a game that you can play out of VR. So if you're into
I had a lot of people that play that game outside of VR, and we're talking about it. So, and I never picked it up, though. But it looks cool.
Yeah. So those were the
three. The music looks awesome, in all honesty. I love the music of that game.
Intense. I was banging my head to it, matching the beat.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I wasn't beating my meat. I know that's what you were going for.
We're supposed to say that. This is a family podcast.
Yeah, of course.
There are no beating meat when you got a family. Oh, the explicit tag shit.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot.
So there's a number of other games I've had on my list for a while, but they weren't on sale, unfortunately. I think it was Polybius. That's one that's been on my list. Let's see. Persistence hasn't gone on sale yet. I really want to get that for myself since I only got to play like the first level of the podcast. Right. Did I get to the second? I don't remember. So that was nice to have. It's always fun busting out the VR every once in a while. I seem to do it like once a month.
See, I love VR. I just don't have the time to play VR. That's what's frustrating. But I think it's such a cool thing. I'm seriously waiting for that, you know, that crazy, you know, SAO boob touching stuff, you know?
Oh, we're getting closer and closer to that. As soon as we start like hooking up nervous systems, that's when I'm kind of bowing out.
Can I ask a really like an off-topic question really quick?
Sure.
Have you watched the new season of Sword Art Online?
No, are they doing that shit?
Oh yeah, Alicization. They're still going off the books.
Oh god.
Oof, I love it.
I'm not touching SAO anymore. No chance.
It's amazing.
Okay. No, I'm out.
Okay. I'm done. We done. All right. Back to the podcast.
Yeah. So I got a question for you, Drew.
Oh, hit me.
I know it's October, and I'm sure a lot of people want to get your initial impression.
There's probably not many people that want to get my impression. Let's be honest.
Well, you're the online guy. I want to know your
initial the online guy.
Opinion on specifically this question: Black Ops Online. The new Black Ops came out.
Online. Black Ops 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing right now.
You've been playing nonstop since release. You got the beta.
Nonstop.
Before we get to the online thing, did the beta live up to your expectations?
Yeah. The betas are interesting for online games, especially in this day and age where they're more pre-order bonuses, just stress tests for the servers than actual betas. These games they're made they just because when it comes to a beta for a game that releases that's already greenlit, you know, the only thing they really change is the numbers, which is a good thing to change. Get me wrong, it's balancing, it's changing stats on certain items and that kind of stuff, and that's always fun. The game was great. They had 3 or 4 maps in the beta, and then they had like most of the weapons, not all the weapons, but most of the weapons, and it played really well. And I enjoyed the beta. You know, it's very fresh. And I'm pretty sure I talked about this back a while ago, but it's a very fresh Call of Duty experience. Black Ops 4 is, because it's evolved to the formula quite a bit, which for a lot of people is amazing, and then a lot of people it's really frustrating because they don't want to get used to it. So. It's the best Call of Duty in recent years, easily. And that's talking because I played it after launch. But this Call of Duty game, as far as COD goes, it's got great maps. You know, it's got great guns, great gameplay. It's new. It's a little bit fresh. The Battle Royale mode is phenomenal. It's a great Call of Duty game. No jetpacks. It's boots on the ground, but it's the frantic Call of Duty gameplay that everybody knows and loves. Boots on the ground, yeah. And it's none of the crazy, you know, jetpacks, and there's no terrible maps like there were in World War II, and it's fun. There's some weird balancing issues because Treyarch always tries to mix the formula up. So in this game, the attachment system is also very different. So not all guns have attachments, but then like with grip, there might be like grip 2, which adds extra special stuff like no flinch and like no recoil, and it's and that stuff is kind of weird in as far as competitive play goes, because you can competitive and pro players will use and abuse certain stuff like that. Like no flinch just makes it so everybody kind of stands still and aims and you don't miss a single shot. So it's a crazy game, but the casual stuff and the public match is just so much fun.
Okay. A pleasant surprise. Well, with the game coming out, how is the online play? Having trouble like getting set up with people? Like, what's that like? Is it?
No, it's actually so. This game, I don't know if anybody remembers or knows, but World War II launch was terrible. That was like the first game.
That's kind of why.
Franchise was back to its roots. Way more people playing the game than they were a little bit used to. So you couldn't get into the game for a first while. Black Ops 4, pleasantly. It actually broke PlayStation store records. It broke Activision digital sales records.
Apparently what the Call of Duty games do every year.
But this one sold a lot more than COD normally does, which is great. And then again, it's Treyarch, and Treyarch always makes good COD games, so that's always nice to have. But the gameplay's great. Public matching people, it's seamless, and it plays really good. You know, the dedicated servers are fantastic. There was no issues I ever had with all that stuff. You know, out of the box. They released the they decided to release physical copies a little bit early, which kind of helped as everybody got on, not at the same time. But when it comes down to private match gameplay, that is a completely different story. Because private match in this game is pretty much broken right now. And so making the competitive stuff kind of hard. Like in Search and Destroy, competitive settings, it's the first to 6 rounds. So overall, there could be up to 12 rounds, but there's a bug in the game where as soon as you hit round 7, the game like turns off. It doesn't shut off, but the lobby ends, the game ends, which is really annoying because then you have to start the lobby again. So any progression you've made during score streaks or anything in that game, you have to stop. The private match lobbies, like every 2 games, tend to crash. And then you can't save rule sets. It's a little awkward. And being able to switch teams, everything's kind of broken there. But as far as the online play goes with the casual stuff in the public match and then in Blackout and Zombie is absolutely fantastic. We're just kind of waiting on a patch to fix private match.
Okay. Alrighty then.
And then the specialist stories, the cutscenes, super cool. The gameplay is really tedious because it's not actually story-based missions. It's just you're playing against bots doing tedious things in tutorials that are really simple. No, but like it's kind of worth it because by the end you unlock a Blackout character, and also the cutscenes are really interesting because it seems all these multiplayer characters together. Because Black Ops 3, how it kind of did it is you had all these characters, and then you would unlock voice lines, and you had this really actual intricate storyline that was interesting. And Black Ops 4 is a prequel to Black Ops 3 and has some of the same specialists, which are kind of the heroes, is Overwatch would have it. It's a hero shooter to an extent. But Black Ops 4 serves as a prequel to Black Ops 3. And so you get all these backstories and personal stories, all these specialists you play with in multiplayer that are actually really interesting. And it's I'm kind of impressed how like good the storytelling is, because it's way more than just basic, Call of Duty stuff. It's like personal stories, like actual thought-provoking stuff. But you only get it in the cutscenes, which more than less serve as basically just a movie to watch. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of disappointing, but they scrapped the campaign for that.
Well then. Sounds like it's a mixed bag right now.
I think it's a great bag that just needs to get rid of the candy corn.
It's an interesting analogy. I like that.
It's spooky season, man.
It is spooky season.
Yeah, well, and I think they'll be getting rid of the candy corn soon because that one kid's going to show up and eat it all.
But nobody eats candy corn. Don't be silly.
No, there's always that one kid who's like missing 3 teeth in elementary school. All
right. Well, let me play this drop, and we can move on to the Tokyo Game Show Fallout.
All right, drop that bass.
Alrighty.
Drop that bass, bro.
Alrighty, so Tokyo Game Show Fallout. If you remember last year, there was a lot of PSVR news that came out of it, or was that the PlayStation Experience? One of the two.
There's one of the two.
You know what? That was the Paris Game Show.
They're all the same nowadays.
It was the Paris Game Show. There was a lot of PSVR news, a lot of cool game footage being shown over games that were going to come out this year. Instead, as opposed to what we got last year, this year was a lot more just kind of filler news. So what I watched most of the show, but what I ended up doing was to get a nice little condensed list. I found a good YouTube video. I took this list from GamerRanks. He's a pretty well-known YouTuber. Mm-hmm. And he broke down kind of a top 10 list, and I totally agree with it in the end. So we're just going to run down the list that GamerRanks has of the top 10 things coming from Tokyo Game Show, because I do agree with it. So number 10 was Project Judge, a new game from the Yakuza creators. It's a vigilante-type investigator game. Looks like a spiritual sequel to the Yakuza series. I'm pretty excited for this. Another Sega franchise that looks like it's going to continue what people are into. A good formula.
Good stuff.
You watched this YouTube
video, I really like the Yakuza. Yeah, I think I watched it. I really like the Yakuza franchise. I want to point out that it's essentially Japanese GTA with crazy shit. So, and it's just fucking fun. And all on it, it's goofy and it takes itself seriously. And I think when games take themselves seriously, it's perfect because your community gets to make fun of it, and it's just hilarious. Like Rainbow Six Siege, it takes itself so seriously, and so it's a meme. So,
well, this looks like it's taking the investigative approach with a fallen out lawyer. It looks pretty cool. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on this game. I don't think we got a lot of news about it from E3 earlier this year. This was a nice, pleasant surprise. Number 9 was the Ace Attorney trilogy getting ported to everything. So if you're into another lawyer game.
I love those stories. Ported to everything.
Yeah, why break down all the consoles, right? Including PC. I guess that's worth mentioning. So if you've always wanted to play the Ace Attorney games, now would be your time to get into it, since the main 3 are going to be available.
Yeah, man.
Outside the 3DS. That's
which nice. Are they? Wait. Quick question: are they coming to mobile?
Oh, I would not imagine so.
Because I would totally play those games on mobile.
Well,
my iPhone XS Max.
Shouldn't have sold your Switch then. That's pretty mobile.
I mean, I'm gonna get a Switch eventually, but like, I'm playing so much COD, I don't have time to play other games.
You did get a PS4, so I do
to play COD.
Did you get a SCUF controller to go with your PS4?
Yeah, it's got the SCUF Impact. I'm looking at getting the SCUF Vantage, which looks pretty nice. Because let's be honest, guys, Xbox controllers are better than PlayStation controllers.
That's your opinion.
Oh, that's a lot of, especially the competitive community. Everybody prefers the 360 controllers, and so SCUF's been trying to kind of get those controllers for PlayStation. And the SCUF Vantage is a little bit smaller than the Impact, but kind of is more Xbox like, and so I'm really looking at that one. But right now, I'm just sticking with the $150 controller that I have.
Oh god, it's so much money.
Yeah, no, I mean it's an investment, you know. So.
Number 8, just moving down the list here. This was expected, but nonetheless, I think it's worth mentioning. Was the Vita is officially being shut down in 2019 production-wise?
Officially? I saw that. Are they shutting down the PSN for the Vita?
That wasn't in any articles that I read. So I think you can
so it's still free games and everything?
I still think you can buy. Well, they're not releasing any new games for the Vita, like PS Plus wise, but you can.
What about no PS Plus free games?
I don't know. That ended in February this year. Like if a game came out on both the PS4 and Vita, I believe that's still part of it because a couple games have come out in that regard.
But like, there's no because like you would get free PS3, free Vita, and a free PS4 game every month.
But there's no Vita exclusive title, I guess you could say, that's on PS Plus anymore. That's been a case since February.
Okay.
But the production-wise is being shut down in 2019. So
that's too bad.
It's too bad.
Do we know if they're working on a new one? Because I was seeing rumors that after the Switch's success, they were talking about it.
No, there's no rumors.
That sucks. I love the Vita.
The Vita's a very underrated system. I even
extremely
myself
underrated.
At first was saying there's no games for it and everything, but if you
thing is a wonderful indie machine.
It is a wonderful indie machine. I have found myself doing remote play in my bed. That's how I played Destiny, games.
The original. I played so much Destiny on my Vita.
So, moving on. Number 7, more Devil May Cry 5 info. You're able to play as 3 characters, one named V, which is a woman. You can play as Dante and Nero. But, before I get to that little tidbit, it will have multiplayer options, up to 3 people, but unknown what exactly that will entail. Whether that's, a co-op type story or what have you. Don't know anything about that. There just will be multiplayer options. And the crux...
Those multiplayer boys?
Not the crux. The controversy that's coming out of Devil May Cry is it will include game story microtransactions.
Oh! Single player microtransactions suck, man.
In Origins, it sort of worked.
Assassin's Creed, I feel like gets away with it because the single player is such a refined, almost multiplayer-esque gameplay loop.
Oh, we'll get to Odyssey next month. I am super pissed off about.
You're pissed with that game. I love that game.
Have you played Odyssey?
I played a little bit of it, and I love it.
Well, yeah,
I absolutely love it. I was looking at getting Rage
for next month.
I was looking at getting the special edition Assassin's Creed Odyssey Gunners.
No, don't fall into that trap.
I decided to get the MLG Microns because I've been playing so much COD that I literally need to get a pair of those because it's been hurting my eyes. So I'm getting a pair of Gunners.
But back to this Devil May Cry 5 microtransaction controversy. Where the issue lies is, are they going to lock out combos or special moves behind these microtransactions?
I hope not, man.
Are they going to lock out part of the game behind microtransactions? You know, are these cool moves going to be locked out?
So is it officially like moves, or is it going to be kind of like, here's an extra powerful weapon you can get right now for real world, or like skins? Is it going to actually, because like
the rumors coming out, it's going to be everything. It's going to be more powerful weapons right away. It's going to be skill sets that are going to be locked behind this paywall.
That's not cool.
No, it's not. It's
like I was really afraid with Final Fantasy 15 that they were going to have some big summons in the locked behind paywalls, and I can't remember if they did. I don't think they did, which was nice because I didn't want there to be, because some of the coolest stuff, you know, you want access to is a player, not as a customer, you know.
No, exactly. You're already paying $60 for a full game. If that's what they want to come out with as a full price, then the microtransactions don't need to be there, especially in a single-player story experience. That's nonsense. We'll get to Spider-Man later. There's no microtransactions in that game. It seems to work just fine.
Yeah, that game rocks, too.
So...
I mean, wait, is there not? I thought that you could buy some of those suits. Or no, there's DLC expansions.
There's
like story packs. That's it, though.
Yeah, just like in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, there's going to be there's little like tomb expansions, but
and I'm okay with story expansions. Like they're hitting some extra supervillains and superhero characters. Like rumor is they were gonna do like a Spider-Man Daredevil storyline.
It's still exploiting to an extent, but it's not to the extent of locking out moves.
Yeah,
that's
I feel like with
literally hiding
story
parts
expansions,
that's literally hiding gameplay elements behind a paywall.
I feel like it could also be considered just a brand new kind of thing. I think big story expansions, as long as they're not shady or kind of, you know, not really full on, I think that it's fine to, you know, spend $20 on like a whole nother like 4 hours a new story experience, you know?
Yeah, it depends on the content.
I like that stuff.
It all depends.
Yeah, it really depends on the content. But like The Last of Us Left Behind is a DLC expansion for story. I thought that was perfect. You know, I was like, yeah, I'll pay for that. And I don't think that's abusing your power as kind of the game.
I'm definitely with you on the, like, Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wilds. I got good 12, 14 hours out of that $20. So that's a game, man. That's another game right there. So, got some people talking about some of the wrestling event that happened last night in the chat. That'll be a topic for the wrestling cast come Thursday. So, but we're talking some controversial gaming tonight.
Tonight next week. Tonight. All right, tonight.
Oh, got a new follower on Mixer. Thank you, sir. Him names Stu95. Well, okay, thank you.
I had a nice quad feed last game.
Dude, Drew, a little off topic, but I had just a crazy fucking live reaction stream of a wrestling event last night. Like 700 people at one point. Like, that's how many views I got on YouTube. There was 50 people on Twitch simultaneously, like, talking. It was nuts.
I had a stream a couple like 2 weeks ago where I had like 400 viewers. I got a pretty crazy host, and then we were sitting at like 400 viewers.
Oh, I had no hosts. It was all me.
That's sick.
Yeah, I was like, what is happening here?
Anyways, you stream something niche. That's what's interesting. It's like you're streaming quite the niche.
Yeah. So I'm worried for Devil May Cry 5 because the game looked kick-ass, and now it looks like a lot of things are going to be...
I'm sure it'll be a kick-ass, but it'll just be kind of annoying.
Well, if it's annoying, then why am I going to play an annoying game, kind of thing?
Because it's kick-ass.
Kick-ass annoying? Yeah, that doesn't exist. So, number 6, moving down the list. Jump Force will have character creator.
The Witcher 3 was annoying and kick-ass.
Why was The Witcher 3 annoying?
Just all those fucking horse armors.
Okay, a little random there. Alright, back to Jump Force. Jump Force, the big anime fighting game, kind of the successor to
that game
J-Stars
looks so
Plus.
sick, dude.
It looks like
that game looks so sick.
It's gonna have a character creator in the realm of kind of that Dragon Ball Xenoverse thing, where you can create your own character, like in the realm of whatever universe they come from. So that's pretty cool. If the game plays all right, is still, you know, up for grabs. Who knows how that's going to play out? But it looks good so far. You know, it's just a lot of trailers. Not really. Just
a lot of, and this game, which is interesting, it is set up trailer wise to be the most anticipated game ever. You know,
in the
just
anime
because what it's doing in the anime community.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, it's not necessarily only anime. When you're bringing Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh, when you're bringing these people and these franchises into a game, you're starting to reach outside of the only anime community. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh was a normal Cartoon Network show. You know, like this stuff. This
was heavily just popular anime worldwide.
Yeah, heavily popular worldwide, and we're looking at, you know, Naruto again, Dragon Ball Z, huge worldwide. You know, non-anime fans watch these shows.
Yeah.
Or play these games.
I already have J-Stars Plus, so I don't need Jump Force in any form.
I had it on my Vita, but I think Jump Force, and it isn't Jump Force a 3D fighter?
Well, so was J-Stars.
Is it? I had it on the Vita.
J-Stars was 3D.
I think J-Stars on the Vita was 2D.
Even had a wacky little story to go.
Oh no, I'm thinking about the other one, the other crossover game, not J-Stars. It remains to be seen if J-Stars is a better fighter, though, because I didn't hear things, or I mean, Jump Force is a better fighter, because I did not hear good things about J-Stars, personally.
Well, no, that was a cash grab game.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if Jump Force would be the same.
I put out my $20 for it.
Yeah, I mean, it stands to be seen if J-Stars or Jump Force is going to be the same, if it's a cash grab or a quality game, you know?
I have a funny feeling that it is going to be in that same realm.
I hope it isn't, man.
Hey, let's move on.
I want that game to rock.
Number 5, more Resident Evil 2 trailers. One in particular, game looks totally insane with the cinematics. There's a lot of cinematic type cutscenes. Seeing all the characters in today's graphics, it looks crazy. Drew, looks crazy.
It does look crazy. I'm wondering if they'll have a VR mode for it.
I'm hoping so. I really do.
That'd be crazy.
Here's
another kind of
third-person VR experience. Right? That'd be worth it.
Another kind of off-topic question. As far as Resident Evil 8, the sequel to kind of Biohazard, is that a thing yet? Because that was big.
No RE8 in the works that I know of.
Okay. Because there has to be one in the works, because RE7 was huge, you know?
Yeah. RE7 was a great game. I quite enjoyed it. It was very scary.
Very scary.
It was very scary. Played it in VR. It was very tough.
A very tough game to play.
Because it was too scurry.
It was too scurry. I spent a lot of time standing in a corner and just not moving forward.
I was like, I don't want to go in that room.
There, I see that man right there. He's standing right there.
Yeah. So Ada Wong looks pretty kick-ass in RE2. And all the other characters. The voice acting, of course, took a big step up. That was noticeable. Considering, you know, PlayStation voice acting, not the best.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So I'll be definitely getting RE2, more than likely, within the first couple weeks of it coming out, for sure. Number 4, extended trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3. You know, that game everyone's looking forward to. Jesus Christ! Keep going. Yeah, it's showing a lot more of the universes that are in the world. Yeah, in the Kingdom Hearts little world. Big Hero 6, Frozen, of course, Pirates of the Caribbean, Monsters Inc., etc. So lots of variety. What stood out to me was the variety in the Keyblade transformations. You know, putting in magic and it transforms, a little more attacks. So mechanically, the game looks like it has as much variety as the worlds you're interacting with. Now, the story is another topic in itself. That remains to be seen.
Oh, boy. Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be sick. That's all I got.
Yeah, not much else to say. I mean, it was
I'm going to cry when Baymax dies again. They're following the comic book storyline with Baymax in the Big Hero 6 world with Evil. I don't know if anybody knows anything about the comics, but Baymax comes back from like that crazy other dimension, is like an evil dude, and he's gonna. They're following that storyline in the Kingdom Hearts 3. So evil Baymax is coming.
Alrighty. Number 3, Sega Genesis Mini is delayed and will now not be developed by AtGames. Good decision, I would say. AtGames is notorious for making shitty mini systems, or at least the sound is just god-awful and it lags. So now it's being developed by someone else, but they were unnamed. So
that's fair.
Probably better for the Sega Genesis Mini's future for this move. So. Number 2, more Death Stranding cutscenes. So now it was revealed that there's a centralized enemy. The Man in the Golden Mask is his name.
Man in the Golden Mask.
So kind of like a James Bond villain type name, which I got a kick out of.
Baby-eating person.
Yeah. And he's the one that can summon the liquid black death monsters.
I'm so confused already.
Yeah. So more concept art for more characters in the game. Game looks cool, man. Game looks cool.
No, it looks interesting. That's definitely a game I'll pick up even alongside COD. Like, I got to make time for that game.
Never made a bad game.
No.
Never made a bad game. His track record speaks for itself.
It does.
And number 1, the big news that broke the internet essentially was the PlayStation Classic. The PlayStation Mini was revealed. And they revealed 5 games to go along with it. It's coming out this holiday season. The 5 games are Final Fantasy VII. That was to be expected, or at least it should have been.
Wait. Say that one more. 7?
Final Fantasy VII.
When's it coming out?
On the PlayStation Classic. This holiday season.
I'm hyped.
Yeah. Tekken 3, Wild Arms, which is a decent enough JRPG. Jumping Flash, which was a first-person platformer, which was kind of revolutionary for the time.
Is it in VR?
What? No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And Ridge Racer 4, which is arguably one of the best racing games on the PlayStation.
I used to play that a lot.
That isn't named Gran Turismo. So
Gran Turismo is its own beast.
Yeah. So one aspect that's definitely worth mentioning is when they were showing off the system and the controller, not the analog stick controller. So of the 20 games that in total will be on there, you know immediately that like a game like Ape Escape will not be on there. Because that was one of the original games that required an analog stick. What are some games that you'd like to see on the PlayStation Classic? Just name a couple.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not a PlayStation kid at all. I only played the racing game. I forgot the name already. The racing game you were talking about, I played that at like a friend's house. I was a Nintendo kid. I literally did not touch the PlayStation. Besides, what was Twisted Metal? I think I played Twisted Metal.
Do you want Twisted Metal on there?
Twisted Metal.
I as well. I would like Twisted Metal 2 or
some other horror game I played on it that I don't remember.
What, Resident Evil?
I think I played the original Resident Evil on. Yeah.
So you'd want Resident Evil on there?
Yeah, I'm more of an Xbox Mini guy. I was an Nintendo than Xbox.
Oh, please.
Xbox Mini. I want I'm gonna forget something. I already have an Xbox, but like, listen, we get the controller still has to be ginormous, even on the Xbox Mini. I want
the controller has to be as big as the Mini.
I want Crimson Skies. I want Halo. I want
People JD in the chat says Twisted Metal was great.
I want Battlefront. I want some of the original Tom Clancy's.
It's not really Xbox original.
Yeah, but it's like Xbox memory. What was Fusion Frenzy? There's some games I want.
So to me,
but I want something to be third party.
To me, for the PlayStation Classic, you need to mix it up between some of the games that you associate with the PlayStation, and then some of the games I think that are kind of cult classics.
Yeah, and that's what's important on pleasing kind of the mini crowd, right? You need to get the nostalgia, and then you need to get the cults.
Well, I think it also opens it up for like a PlayStation Classic 2, you know, because then you can put in more of those. You could do the same thing again. So to me, I think when I'm thinking games that I associate with the PlayStation, you know, maybe the first Tomb Raider, or at least Tomb Raider 2.
And it's the same thing with me and like the Xbox. It's like Battlefront I associate with PlayStation. And I would want that to be on an Xbox Mini.
Yeah, but it's not exclusive.
It's not an exclusive. You're right.
Yeah, in order for this to work, you would need kind of exclusive titles.
Right.
You think a Tiny Hawk game... Oh, Tony Hawk is probably what he means. Could be in the classic.
But is that an exclusive? Was that an exclusive?
No, it
wasn't. Tony Hawk
it wasn't exclusive. There was Tony Hawk came out and everything, so...
And that's the issue, right?
Yeah.
But you remember that game for PlayStation.
So I think... Well, no, I had friends that had it on the N64, and I had it on the PlayStation. Didn't matter. So I think Metal Gear Solid would be a game I'd associate the Tomb Raider 2, and then for kind of those cult classic games, maybe a Wipeout game.
That'd be sick.
Let's see here. God, I'm trying to like run down the list of games in my head. Suikoden, like another JRPG, you know, especially those games that run $200+. That's Suikoden 2. You know, put that on the classic mini. That'd be great. Getting people to play those expensive games again.
No, for real. I would love to see some of the dot hack games on a PlayStation mini.
Oh, that's PS2.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
Don't worry, I got the facts in the back of my head.
You think? Yeah, you're the more the PlayStation guy than I was.
Oh, I'm definitely.
I only have a PlayStation. 100%. I only have a PlayStation because I like some of the Uncharted games, Last of Us, and then mainly because Call of Duty competitive is on it.
Yeah, you're
I wouldn't if the Call of Duty competitive stuff was not on PlayStation, I would not have a PlayStation. Well, actually, Last of Us 2 might get me one, but I would get a cheap one, not a PlayStation.
See, there are things that'll get you.
Yeah,
PlayStation.
I mean, there's some exclusive, dude. Like Naughty Dog is an amazing studio, but like, you know, Call of Duty competitive is on there, and then I got Halo. I'm already set. Like,
but here's where it gets a little tricky, because when this news broke, and people were going nuts for what they want to see on it. A lot of people are putting like Spyro and Medieval and Crash on there, and I go, no, don't put them on there. And here's why.
Oh, come on!
Here's why. They're remaking them for the modern consoles.
Yeah, but when I like to think the market for the mini, I like to think of a dad buying his son something he played and trying to play it with him.
Well, then buy him the new remade game. That's better.
But that's still you're trying to give your son your experience, right?
It's coming out on PlayStation. It's still PlayStation.
Yeah, but what if you don't like modern consoles? You don't have a PS4, but you love the PS1 because you were a kid.
That's getting way more.
You want to bond with you want to bond with your son because like you're a terrible father, you know?
Jesus Christ. I think because they're coming out remade, they don't need to be on there, and you can use that one of those 20 game spots on something else. You'd always put them on a Classic 2 or something.
Yeah. When is a PS2 Classic going to happen?
Never.
Never? You don't think so?
Maybe in 10 years.
You think we're still that far away from that, huh?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Well.
There's already like rumors and almost essentially confirmations of the N64 Classic coming out, and that's...
I'm going to get that one. That's the one I'm going to get.
That all depends on Rare. That really does.
Yeah, I would 100% get an N64.
If you take a lot of those Rare games out of the equation, they're going to have a hard time filling even 20 games. I have a feeling.
Dude.
Be like, where's Banjo? Where's
GoldenEye? Where's GoldenEye? I need GoldenEye. I want GoldenEye. I want 64. I want Mario Kart. I want Mario Party. I want what was this, all the fucking Ocarina of Time? Like, give me a 64 mini.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna get it, so
I'm hyped. That's what I'm actually gonna get.
Let's play the drop and get into our September games. Because my throat's
Wub, wub.
starting to get to me now.
I'm still drinking tea.
Alrighty. I'm going to play...
Dispatcho.
Alrighty. 5 minutes, drop. Cool. There we go. Okay. September game releases. First one we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games we got to talk about.
6.
I don't have a lot to say for a few of these games, so but the main two have a lot to say. First one here is Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
She has a shadow now, and she's not returning anymore.
Third game of the rebooted series. It's a trilogy. It's supposed to be a trilogy of her becoming the Tomb Raider, essentially.
Because they don't want to make games of her being a Tomb Raider, because that's just too taboo.
Well, they already did that with like 7 games, the first 7.
Right.
I thought the story was interesting enough, yet pretty expected. You know, Laura goes into a tomb, she takes something she's not supposed to, evil organization also wants it, and it's probably for world domination in some way, or it'll kill a bunch of people kind of deal. She's
a local international terrorist, let me tell you. She's a bad girl.
Lots of weird character moments in this game, specifically for Laura, and very inconsistent, I must say.
Yeah, she's just a psychopath, a sociopath, my bad.
Well, I mean, she'll go from breaking down, crying, you know, thinking that the world revolves around her, it's all her fault, only she can fix it, nobody else can.
Girl things.
If she doesn't do it, who else is going to do it kind of mentality. You know, it all kind of makes sense, but then you have Jonah, kind of her best friend that's along her side to kind of keep her in check mentally.
Does he die in this game?
I don't want to do that kind of spoiler.
Okay, so I'm just curious because I've been waiting for him to die for a while.
So in this one, you know, in the first one, he was just kind of on the radio. He was hanging out at camp. In this one, he just kind of randomly pops up in places. They get separated a lot, and then he'll just go, "Here I am," to fix whatever mental personality moment Laura's having. You know, however way the story is progressing. So, in that sense, very weird stuff. The main one that comes in is there's this oil refinery scene that's really cool. In the middle of
super cool
Peru, that's kind of where they end up. Really cool scene where everything's exploding, but then, you know, like a walking distance away is this quote-unquote hidden city, and you're like, all right, come on, guys.
There's just walking city out of, like, New York. There's just underground golden city and
yeah, that's never happened to be stumbled upon. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. You know, there's that one really high guy who's totally been there before.
Oh, absolutely. He's just like, was I there? Nah, I was high.
He just wakes up in the morning like, where the fuck was I?
So, you know, there's a lot of moments in that sense, but that's not what bugged me the most. Because I did enjoy the game. I mean, it's Tomb Raider. I've played far worse Tomb Raider games out there. Angel of Darkness immediately comes to mind on the PS2, that piece of crap. So the game looks great. You know, it's 2018. It should look great. Square Enix was behind it. You know, that's expected. The character models all look great. The interaction between them, the dialogue between, you know, that all lives up to what a AAA title should be. What doesn't quite work is the repeated sequences. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of underwater diving sequences, you know, rinse and repeat formula there. Fun. There's a lot of rock climbing. There's a lot of squeezing through tight spaces scenes where the first instance you're like, ooh, this is cool. The 15th instance you're like, all right, come on. Couldn't think of anything else.
No.
So,
here it is.
One thing I want to make clear, though, which I did like about this game, which a lot of people aren't going to like. This is my own personal experience, which I like. In a lot of the early Tomb Raider games, it was because of the limitation of what the era was, it was a lot of exploring the environment and kind of taking in the scenery around you. So in that sense, this was a good callback to that era. However, if you don't have a lot of things to do in the areas other than just traverse it, I can see why a lot of people go, this is kind of boring.
Yeah.
Because I personally found myself taking advantage of the selfie picture implement they're putting in a lot of games these days.
Yeah, because
I was posting a lot of stuff to Twitter. I was having kind of fun with that.
They realize, people aren't playing their games because they have to take time away from taking selfies. So if they just put a selfie feature in the game, then they can take the selfie in game and they'll still play.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of cool, like, cinematic picture photo-esque moments, and I was like, okay, this is clearly what they're going for. I'm traversing the environment. I'm gonna do it, and I had fun doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the problem behind that. There was a lot of cool mechanics in the games that you only use like a handful of times. So, for example,
I understand that. Games do that a lot lately. And I know this is a little older of a example, but Halo 4 in the story, and this was part of the E3 demo too.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of the game, there's this scene where you open this elevator and this space wind sucks you out of it, and there's this big climbing scene with this new mechanic. And you're like, okay, this is going to be a thing, and it never shows up again. It's a completely fresh mechanic that goes through a big, intense scene, and it's just never seen again in the game, even though, here's something, and it just gets rid of it.
Yeah, kind of like the boat battling sequence in Assassin's Creed 3. That was probably the best part of the game, which is...
And then they made a game for it.
Yeah, which is what led to making Black Flag. So, in a sense, it led to something good, but for the moment in the game...
That doesn't happen very often.
Didn't happen very often. So, in Shadow of the Tomb Raiders part here, do you remember in the E3 trailers and whatnot, they were really emphasizing you can, slather Lara, up with mud, and then she could hide in certain walls, through stealth mechanics, a la kind of the Predator type maneuvers.
Right.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
There's only a few of those sequences in the game. Actually, I was so disappointed because that was definitely some of the coolest part. Because there was one part in the game where there's like 15 dudes traversing this area, and the mud. I think the mud should have been in different parts of the map, and you had to kind of maneuver yourself over to the mud, so then you could utilize the walls and get through it differently.
Right.
But instead, when you got to those sections, here's the mud pile, slather yourself up. Now here's the...
There wasn't any creativity to it?
Yeah, it lacked a lot of creativity in that sense, and it only happened a handful of times. It was probably one of the cooler parts of the game. So, like the first time you get to it, it's like, okay, it's teaching you. The second time, it should have been, in different parts of the map. There was a cool little jungle area where it was in different parts of the map, but that was the only part. It was the only sequence that happened in.
Right.
The other cool area was adding this point of combat where you can kind of traverse tree lines, because you're in this big jungle environment for most of the game, and it can get a little samey, for sure. Mm-hmm. But it was, well made, and I thought the environments looked different enough. But this tree mechanic of Lara jumping from trees, you can actually unlock a stealth mechanic where you can bow and arrow someone and then strangle them and put them into hide them in the tree line in the upper canopy area. I was like, that is fucking cool. But it only happens a few times.
Right.
In select sections. I'm like, well, shit. Why isn't there a progression of utilizing all these mechanics as you...
This, by the way, is something Spider-Man did amazingly. I think they did it. Yeah.
So, that was my major gripe with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm like, this is a fine game that could have been great. And that's what a lot of people are having a problem with, I think, as well. So,
right.
Good, fun little... I thought the ending of the game... I did beat this game. Usually for the podcast, I only play, X amount of hours, and then I move on. I did end up beating this game. And I thought the ending sequence was a lot of fun. It was quite epic. There's crazy... there's a kooky little... rabid tribe that Lara ends up joining with.
Rabid tribe.
Yeah, there's a big
joining.
Rabid...
Lara joined... Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's expected that this tribe is going to play into the end in a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's, it does happen, and it's pretty cool, the big cinematic sequence of you going through that particular level and area and seeing all of it unfold in this grand moment. That was cool. That was fine. There's even a cool, there was a good, yet not very good section in the game, much like in Uncharted 4, where it was a flashback to when they're kids. So this is when Lara's a kid, and you get a backstory. Right. This is where it does it well. You get a backstory on kind of how her father's death ties into Trinity. You get a nice little sad moment with, kind of family relations, and they're having problems because the father's always gone. In Uncharted 4, when you had that flashback moment to when they're kids, it was like the game came to a grinding halt.
Well, dude, that scene was the prologue.
No, there's one like in chapter 16 in Uncharted 4 where you have this epic thing, and then all of a sudden, nope, you're kids, and you're gonna have to go through this mansion. That was so.
I thought it was a little drawn out. I like the intensity, and then there's a calm, wholesome moment. I like that generally, but I agree with you.
Usually, it's fine. In Uncharted 4, it didn't work. In Tomb Raider's case, your Shadow of the Tomb Raider's case, it did work.
No, I think the kid scene in the prologue worked fantastic. I think the kid scene in Uncharted 3 worked fantastic. I think those scenes generally work well.
I'm talking about when Drake and his brother.
I need to replay that game. I love that game, but I don't think I finished it.
Yeah, you probably didn't get to the part I'm talking about then.
I don't think so. I think I got stuck somewhere in Act 3 when you're just going through so many PvP or your combat sequences, and you're just trying to get to the next part of the story. I think I got stuck there. I just didn't keep going.
Anyways, Shadow of the Tomb Raider got pretty much 8 out of 10 reviews. I like giving games.
It's pretty normal for it.
Well, Rise got, I think, like 9 out of 10s, so this is definitely a step down, and it deservingly needs that lower rating. I don't think I've done this on the Gamecast before, but I'm giving this game like a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10? That sounds about it.
I like using the whole 0 to 10 scale. And, this is like a 70. It passes, in terms of it's a AAA title. It's polished. I didn't get a lot of bugs, that kind of deal.
It gets fun,
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, I had people ask me on Twitter, like, what I think about the sports titles that are coming out this year. Just write fast, if you don't mind.
Right fast. Go for it, dude.
Right fast.
Proud of you.
NBA 2K is now a broken-ass motherfucking game. Screw that shit.
Damn. I'm not okay with this.
Oh my god. The experience gain for any characters is nerfed. Half the modes have been taken out. Don't get NBA 2K. They're bad. It's bad. NHL from EA it's the same game as last year. Last year they tried a lot of innovation, but they also didn't put all the modes in. They took a lot out.
Right.
This year the modes are, pretty much the same. So NHL, you can pretty much skip this rendition. At least last year had, the expansion franchise, and you can make your own team in franchise mode. FIFA, they nerfed a lot of the odds for Ultimate Team. That's kind of the whole appeal from that. So take that for what it's worth. I mean, it's more EA nonsense. So 2K and EA have pretty much ruined a lot of sports franchises for me. I love sports franchises, but I haven't bought them anymore.
Right.
Fortunately.
That's too bad.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm really pissed off about NBA 2K. That's a shame.
I know a guy who would be pissed off. I've never really been a huge fan of the sports stuff.
Oh, that was like my high school and college, man. Just about every year I would get at least one of them, be it FIFA, NBA, or NHL, and I even got a couple Madden games a couple years because I just wanted to get the new one, play with all my friends. Like, dude, I grew up in Texas. Football's like in your face all the time. If I wasn't familiar with
I want to point out, I played these games on the GameCube a lot, like the Madden games. I remember Madden 06. So here, a little quick look into Drew's life, Buddha Ball's life. So my dad had an office. He works graphic design. He had an office about 8 blocks from my elementary school. So in like 5th and 6th grade, I would walk after school the 8 blocks to his office. And then they set up my GameCube in that office in the lobby because I get off at like 3 and my dad worked 9 to 5. So at about, 5, we would head home, So I would play GameCube for hours. And I played a lot of Madden. I played a lot of Tiger Woods, actually. Funny enough.
Oh, golf games are always fun. They're very relaxing.
And then I played, I remember one of my favorites was Pokemon Channel, funny enough. The Pokemon Channel game. That game was super fun. So I played tons and tons of games. And GameStop was like, because we were next to the mall, so GameStop was like a 2-minute walk, 2, 3, 4-minute walk. So I would go to GameStop a lot and trade in games. And they all knew me, so they let me do it, which wasn't necessarily allowed. But so I just trade games. I played so much GameCube in that time, and that's some of my best game memories. But just tons of sports games. But outside of that, I've never really touched the sports games. Because they just got mediocre, especially with microtransactions. I was never really gonna get into that.
Yeah,
it was a bit too much.
The MTs have gotten ridiculous, and NBA, the newest one in
Definitely.
NBA 2K is the final straw for sure. Like they touched on it last year, now they just made it worse, and it's only getting worse.
That's what I've been hearing.
It looks like the menu looks like what you'd get out of a mobile game.
Really?
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Like below the quit button is the option to buy like the in-game currency. It's atrocious. It's unacceptable, man. So,
yeah, no. It's as soon as microtransactions became a thing, I realized I was never going to buy a sports game again.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame. Well, that's why I like Fire Pro Wrestling World so much.
Yeah.
Like there's none of that. It's just here's a wrestling game, make your characters, have fun doing wrestling shit. Drew, I had a stream last night where I was about to watch a big wrestling pay-per-view, and I downloaded or created all the characters that were going to be on the wrestling event, and I just simmed it and just drank coffee, ate some food, and I just did like wrestling commentary on it. It was like the most fun shit I streamed. I ended up having like 25
That stuff's super fun though. I think one of my favorite thing Call of Duty casters do to practice casting is they'll set up bot lobbies in Call of Duty in private match, and they'll cast the bots playing.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it is so funny. It is so funny because the bots will do stupid bot stuff and do crazy shit because they got aimbot. So it's just fun.
Oh yeah, like for example, I know we're getting a little bit off topic here, but
it's our podcast.
It's our podcast. So I had the main title match. I know you're not a big wrestling fan, but you're aware of wrestling.
I like learning about things people like.
It was Austin Aries against Johnny Impact, and all of a sudden the computer started busting out like moves that, and just multiple times through moves that you'd never see him do.
That's awesome.
I was like, wow, Austin Aries is really becoming Aerial Aries all of a sudden. Anyways, let's move on. We're getting off here. SNK Heroines came out, a 2D fighter.
I know.
Switch. Oh, you know. Yeah.
Oh, I know that's games.
Yeah, Terry Bogard, the Final Fight guy, has been changed to a woman in this game. There's only 15 characters, Drew, so I'm kind of disappointed with that.
Oh, I know.
It's a tag team, and so
I know.
I will give it this. It has
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it has an interesting mechanic. I know what you're driving at. Don't worry. I'm
so stupid. I'm immature. I'm still a kid. Okay.
It has an interesting mechanic where, usually when you have multiple characters in a fight, they each have their own health bar. Well, in this case, the two characters that you're fighting with share a health bar, and then you can press a button and they'll do like a tag team attack.
Right.
But that's pretty cool. However, this game is ass. Don't get it.
Okay. Well,
it's really bad.
All right. Yeah.
It's got a brief, strange little story, not even worth mentioning. It's about 15 minutes-ish. You can go through it, so it's like more or less an arcade mode.
Right.
The 3D character art looks absolutely lazy and unappealing. And as an anime fan, this is garbage.
Oof.
Yeah.
We get an oof in the chat for that?
Yeah,
that's rough. Oof.
It has an okay in-game currency system, at best. So you gain gold to use as in-game currency, and it has this gambling element for online play. So instead of gaining just money for wins, you gamble your own money to win more money when you win an online match.
That's intense.
So, let's say you're not very good at online play, like moi over here. You're not winning any gold, ever, right? Or it's a minute amount. So, again, that's when microtransactions come into play. And how do you think you buy extra costumes and character art and shit? Well,
money.
Using the in-game currency. So that's where I personally have a major problem with it. There's no single-player option to gain money. Right. That was a big issue with Street Fighter V that I had. So, you know, elements carrying over. And if that wasn't enough... So if you're good at the online play and you like everything about the game, then hey, great. You're going to unlock everything. You're like me, you're not you're not unlocking shit. But if that wasn't the end of the straw, or the end of the stick that you're laying on the ground, the gameplay is, in my opinion, ass and lazy as well.
Yeah, no, you don't like this game.
No. It is a button spamming game, Drew.
Dude, I love those games.
There's no combinations. There's no...
So like every fighting game?
No, every fighting game has like combinations you input, and you know, depending how good you are, you can get better combinations. And
I mean, Smash Bros has that.
Together. Even Smash Bros has combos. No, this is just a button masher.
Oh well.
You know, this button's X, and you can just smash that all day. Grabs are a single button. Combos or special attacks are a button. You know, that's it. It's just button spam. So what's even the point? So even as a fighter, it's unacceptable. So yeah, fail this game. Don't get it. Kind of deal.
We got to get Joe in here to talk about this real quick.
No.
Yeah. No? Why not?
Well, because he's not a podcast member anymore. That's why.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah. That's way back, man. That's way in the past.
I mean, like, he might jump in for a couple of minutes just to complain about it.
No.
Okay.
Dragon Quest XI came out. Not on the Switch. Very disappointed in that, but hey. Turns out, the best way I can describe this game, Drew, is it's a less interesting Ni no Kuni 2.
That's right. That game came out. Ni no Kuni. I remember. No, that's interesting. Okay, well, that's too bad. That's not that shining of a review.
Well, like, it's fine. Everything plays the way you'd expect it to, you know, but the story's not very interesting. It's very typical anime. Your character has kind of the girl bob haircut, you know? It has the Akira Toriyama character art, just like all the other Dragon Quest games. But unlike, say, what Final Fantasy does, is they try to innovate with their characters and story, or just try to do something new each one.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest seems to have phoned it in on this one, I must say. I'm very disappointed. Because I was very hyped for Dragon Quest. I wanted more. And just like it feels like it's heading in the direction of the Tales of series, where they just have this formula, and they're just going to pump out that same formula every time and do nothing new with it. So,
I mean, that's what I feel like Dragon Quest has been going towards for a very long time now. You know, because once a big game franchise starts dropping off this game is this, you know, spectrum, it's a big deal. You just hear it slowly start sinking into mediocrity because it makes money, and the publishers don't care about it really anymore.
Well, like 4 through 8, you know, tried different things and had different elements involved. Like, I think it was 5 that I really loved, where it had kind of this Pokemon element to it, and then 7 was like this just grand scale story. 8's arguably the best. 11 doesn't like do anything new. It's just, here's an anime story.
Is it the same developer?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
It's all too bad.
Yeah.
So again, it's a fine game, but not worth full price, I would say.
Right.
Yeah. Not much else to say about it. It's just it's a standard RPG from Japan.
Yeah. Sounds like something I would grab off the Vita store real quick just to play.
But one game
there's there was a lot of those on the Vita. So
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I did.
Which even on the Vita, I thought they were more fun on the Vita than they are, on a console, because they're something you get to do on the go.
Yeah. One game I am excited to talk about. Actually, the next three I'm excited to talk about. Is this PSVR game that came out called Transference by Ubisoft.
Ooh,
big
soft Ubi.
Yeah, let me confirm it's by Ubisoft real quick, though.
Yeah, do that.
Life is Strange 2 came out. Who cares?
That game is apparently, really good, so I wouldn't be saying that. Apparently that game's, super, heart-wrenching.
Well, I mean, it's...
All the teenage girls like it.
Yeah, it's more Life is Strange.
That game was emo teenage girl fodder.
Yeah, it's Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Okay.
But apparently the second one's really powerful and good, and not just for teenage girls. It's about little boys now instead of little girls.
Well, I played the prelude to that. That's free on Steam. The Adventures of Captain Spirit. That was.
Oh no, not that one. The actual. There's a new one.
No, I know.
Life is Strange 2.
I know.
Oh, was Adventures of Captain Spirit literally? Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
The boy is the Captain Spirit boy.
The dude.
Yeah.
Nice. What do you think?
So Ubisoft came out with PSVR Transference.
Huh.
And here I go again, going listen off
going
the good.
Hard.
And then I'll get to the bad.
The more the bad.
So lots of this has some of the best sound design use and lighting in a horror game I've experienced since probably Resident Evil 7. It really emphasizes all aspects of
also an Ubisoft game? No, never mind.
No.
Keep talking. I'm wrong.
Yeah, Resident Evil's Capcom, man.
That's Capcom.
So it really emphasizes everything that you want to experience within this little house and shit that you're going through. So the game keeps you at a pretty slow pace as well. There's no sprint or anything. You slowly maneuver around the environment, and the puzzles aren't too bad. They're not hard. They're not Resident Evil ridiculous or Silent Hill stupid. Mm-hmm. You might get stuck on one or two, but not too long. So I really appreciated that. I always like it when a puzzle it eases you into solving it. It's not in front of you, but you do feel the accomplishment of figuring it out on your own.
Right.
It has plenty of jump scares as opposed to The Inpatient, which is a PSVR game we covered for the January cast of 2018.
And I'm pretty sure that was just boring, right?
Well, that was all suspense. Majority of it was all suspense.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big disappointment, I would say.
Right.
So Transference has a lot of jump scares, so you're always on your toes essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a very good move. The downfalls, there's two of them. Two big negatives.
Two big negatives.
Two big negatives. And it's DualShock only, so there's no move controllers involved. So strike one.
Right.
Especially for a hard game.
Mm-hmm.
And then strike two, it's only 2 hours long. I played the whole whole game at the place I like going to the demo.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is it?
Dude, you have demo places? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hate my town.
Oh, you can find them. They're everywhere. Trust me.
No, not in this town. Trust me.
So I ended up playing the whole thing in a couple sessions. I played an hour, took a break. Someone else played it. We're kind of all laughing at him, jumping around, getting scared. And then I played the rest. And then the game ended. And then we were all just going, what? That's it? Oh no, the game was so good. And then it just ends. Fuck.
Yeah, I hate when that happens, dude. That's actually, believe it or not, how I felt about The Last of Us. I knew it was coming to a conclusion, but it didn't hit me any less when I was like, we need to keep going.
Yeah, but The Last of Us wasn't 2 hours.
No. No, The Last of Us was the best.
So Transference is a really, really good horror game experience for PSVR, but it's only 2 hours long. That is definitely a wait for a sale thing.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a couple more horror PSVR games coming out soon. And I'm hoping, especially since it's October now,
right.
spooky month.
Spooky, scary skeleton.
Oh, and this is a good opportunity to say the next Retro Gaming Cast will be recorded in a couple weeks, just in time for Halloween, which means we are doing our first Halloween horror game episode.
Ooh.
Yeah, figured,
Spooky.
podcast is coming up on a couple years, and
Spooky day.
Yeah, why not do a spooky one? So we're doing some of the some really good classic retro horror games.
Some real Gucci ones. Yeah.
And like we like doing, maybe you probably haven't played them before, kind of deal, or haven't played them in decades.
Right.
That's man. Drew, we're just chugging along here, and you're a trooper for hearing me talk about these things.
Dude, I enjoy listening to you talk. You have a very soothing voice.
Oh, thank you, especially since it's hurting. I think it was because I was so into the pay-per-view last night.
No, for real.
And I had hundreds of viewers watching me just mark out to wrestling.
Dude, streaming's crazy, man.
Yeah, well, especially when you actually have people watching them.
Just in, science confirms that being in a happy relationship makes you fat.
Okay. I mean, yeah, because you don't care about each other's looks anymore, I suppose.
Oh, shit.
See, the trick to that is you just both have to make a habit of going to the gym together, and then you just get jacked.
Or you make a habit of making fun of each other and calling each other fat asses, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that goes over well. Honey, how do these jeans make me look? Dude, you look like shit. Your butt is fat. You're an ass.
Tell me. Does this shirt look good? You're fucking fat.
You're fucking fat.
You're fucking fat. Shut the fuck up. Get out of my face. You're fucking fat. Oh, boy.
Awful.
I know.
I'm sure that goes over well.
Oh, yeah, it goes over great.
All right. Not much to say about this game here. Valkyria Chronicles 4 came out. It's out on the Switch as well.
Right.
Turn-based interactive combat anime game. If you haven't played Valkyria Chronicles before,
if you haven't played Valkyria Chronicles before, you probably can't pronounce it.
Well, that too. It's an anime waifu type game for sure. The difference being that this is actually good.
Oof.
I'm not saying it's going to innovate anything that the Valkyria Chronicles franchise has done before. So if you have any of the other games, I'm not saying that you should go out of your way to get 4, but it is still a solid game.
Yeah.
So unlike Dragon Quest XI, where it was kind of diluted, Valkyria Chronicles 4, kind of refines a lot of its gameplay mechanics, which is to be expected. And yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's worth checking out. I think it's a good entry point. Not like Revelations. That game was total ass. So it's fine. I think it's a bit more. I think the way I like describing the Valkyria Chronicles games is it's a more interactive Fire Emblem game with a 3D environment. This is that turn-based anime combat type stuff.
I like my 3D.
Yeah. So take my words for what it's worth. I
take his words.
Yeah. But now we're on to our final game.
Spooderman.
Speederman.
It's Spooter.
Spooter?
Ain't no speeding. It's just spootering.
Well, Drew, I've been talking forever. I would love to sip some tea, take a break, as you...
I just chugged my tea. Fucking shotgunned it.
As you...
Talk about
I know
Spider-Man.
you really like Spider-Man, and I'm mixed on it.
This guy doesn't like quirky college kids.
Well, before we go into the game itself, full disclosure, I am not a Spider-Man guy.
He doesn't like Spider-Man. Who doesn't like Spider-Man?
And that's why I wasn't totally into the game, but there are aspects of the game I generally just did not enjoy very much of. But I'll take a break with my voice here, and Drew.
All right, shut up, JD. You're fucking
Spider-Man
fat.
Away.
Okay, Spooderman, everybody. So get this. This is my elevator pitch. You're a guy who's a spider. You get to swing around on spider webs around New York City. You get to beat the shit out of people. Right? Sounds like a good game? Well, it is. Spider-Man, it's made by Sucker Punch, has amazing fluid gameplay.
Insomniac.
He's on the same thing, dude.
No, it's
Insomniac Games. Amazing gameplay. Amazing gameplay. It's amazing gameplay. You get to be it's Spider-Man. You fly around in New York City. You swing around. You hold the right trigger. You swing around. You know, you listen to some superhero music. You swing around. Somebody's below you. Screams, "Help! I'm being raped!" You just fall and you beat the shit out of the guys, and then you keep swinging around. Hey, kind of is. I don't know what happened.
Like I'm being robbed, kind of deal.
Same thing.
It's not. Robbed and raped are not the same crime.
We're not gonna get into that.
Sir, I was raped. He stole $20 from me. What?
Half the game takes place in a courtroom trying to prove the rape, but you know. Oh boy. It's the best, in my opinion. It is the best superhero simulation game on the market. You just feel like a superhero. You start the game out, you're fighting the Kingpin, you're going into his lair. It gets really crazy really quick, but you're swinging around this New York, you get over to his building, you fight a boss. The boss fights are a little similar. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's enough variety in the boss fights, and that's one of my main gripes. But you're Peter Parker, you're Spider-Man. You go into the game, you start beating up dudes. The gameplay has enough variety to be really entertaining. You know, it's the simple Arkham, you know, press triangle or Y to it's press circle or B to, you know, dodge, and then press smash square over and over to do stuff, and then press Y to do a different attack, and just kind of chain this super fluid, good feeling, you know, game together. And where I feel like this game really shines, funny enough, is I think this game, in a really interesting way, is being a Spider-Man is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I think being Peter Parker is more entertaining because I think the story that they weave with Peter, his girlfriend Mary Jane, and then later on Miles Morales is fantastic. I think the love story between Mary Jane and Peter is one of the best love stories in gaming, hands down. I think it's written perfectly. It feels normal. You care about these characters. And I think Miles Morales is written in wonderfully. And then the gameplay, every once in a while, will switch between these characters. And the coolest thing that I thought this game did is the gameplay of the actual characters really felt grounded. You know, Spider-Man had a certain feel to him, and then you felt extremely grounded and very vulnerable as these characters. There's a mission later on that I remember very clearly, where you're Mary Jane and you're in a hostage situation and you're kind of moving around playing as her, but Spider-Man is in the area, he's in the building, and you're actually commanding him at certain times. And it was a really interesting twist on gameplay because you felt extremely vulnerable, but you could kind of tell Spider-Man what to do. Where this game feels incredible, it plays amazing, and it is infinite fun. And I think the side content is also extremely fun. And there's a ton of crazy gems in the side content where you actually run into different supervillains and superheroes, and it's awesome. But I think the gem of this game is the actual story between Peter and MJ. I think it's fantastic. And then the gameplay is just so much fun. Being the superhero just feels great. That's what I got with Spider-Man. I think the boss fights get a little similar. So I think I finally, like halfway through the game, realized that because whenever you go to Doc Ock's lab, you do some stuff, and it's literally the BioShock hack games. And I realized halfway through the game, you're actually allowed to skip them. But I found really annoying.
I didn't know that.
I think after you take like 30 seconds on it, a little thing will pop up saying skip. And then you can skip them, which is really nice. Because those are hella annoying.
Well,
yeah, same.
It's not like they were hard, so.
They're not hard, but they're a little tedious because they're painfully simple. And it's not the game you bought, you know? Mm-hmm. You bought Spider-Man, not BioShock. So overall, I loved Spider-Man. I would give it a solid 8 out of 10 because, you know, it's got a couple issues, but overall, it is just a really solid, fun game that I'm going to remember and enjoy. You know, or maybe I'd give it 8.7.
All right.
Because it is a very, and this is something that I did not say about the game in my review, or my talking about it, but this game is very mainstream. It does nothing new. It does nothing special. It does what exists, and it does it well. And that's why I would give it probably like an 8.7, because it didn't blow me away. Okay. But it's a very fun game, and it does everything it's trying to do very well, in my opinion.
That's fair.
It just doesn't do anything new.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So,
and I think JD likes mechanics. I think he likes innovation as far as games go. Mm-hmm. I really like just enjoying an experience, and Spider-Man does fantastic at that, in my opinion. I think it's just an incredibly enjoyable experience.
So that's a good place for me to come in then, because I like that. I like that comment. It's a mainstream type game.
Mm-hmm. So and that's what I think definitely is a business they really wanted to do, because Spider-Man was going to draw people in no matter what. They didn't want to take risks. Right now. And although I do think they took a risk with the storyline and making a really, deep, not deep, but not complicated, but articulate maybe is the right word. A storyline that wasn't just a basic storyline. There was a lot of depth to the storyline between MJ and Peter, and that's what I thought was interesting. It wasn't between the hero, like a Batman storyline between the hero and the villain. It was a very personal relationship between, they broke up. The beginning of the game, you're not in a relationship with MJ. She's your ex, and it's interesting kind of navigating that, because they get forced to work together. And so they're working, and it's your ex is working together, right? And it's just interesting how it's written. It's wonderful. So I really, really enjoyed it.
I will give the game that in the, because I ended up watching a developer interview on how they came to the decisions that they made, particularly concerning the character interaction between MJ and Spider-Man. How you're not Spider-Man in his teen years. He's an adult in his early 20s. Yeah,
he's been a Spider-Man for a good long while.
He's been a Spider-Man
which is also
for a
enjoyable.
little while.
And there's no Uncle Ben storyline.
There's no, right. You didn't come into the typical watching the uncle die.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Right. So that was much appreciated. I did appreciate the story focusing around Mr. Negative, a villain that that isn't synonymous with Spider-Man all the time. He's not facing Green Goblin or Dr. Octopus as the main villain. It's the whole story is focused around this guy. I that's what I appreciate. I don't want to play every single Batman game where you're against the Joker the entire time. Yeah.
Especially because all these heroes, even if they weren't given a ton of light, doesn't mean that they're not really good heroes. Mr. Negative, they although I think some of his lines as his secret identity were a little bit campy. I think there were definitely some, okay, we know you're foreshadowing. This is a little weird. And there were some times that were a little campy, which works.
It's a superhero story made for children, so
this game was not a kid's game. I want to point that out. I don't think this was a kid's game at all.
But the Spider-Man character and all the background stories are made for kids.
Yeah. That's something else I want to pipe in on really quick. This game gets unexpectedly really dark and real in a couple times. There's a scene where there's literally a public bombing, and this game switches from this very colorful jump in fun game to a very dark, real, violent, visceral game very quickly. And I won't spoil kind of what happens, but you see Peter Parker blow up in this. He gets really hurt in this scene, and you switch gameplay to a different character and actually go out through this scene as someone without superpowers. And it's just an extremely vulnerable, scary situation. There's other scenes, there's a scene where I don't think it's a spoiler
opens it up for sequels and whatnot. Yeah.
And I don't think it's a spoiler to say this, but there's a couple scenes with Tombstone, who's another Spider-Man get bad guy, who's not as huge, but where he just does some gruesome stuff, and you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah, he's the crazy biker dude, isn't he?
He's the guy made of stone, or
right.
It's like, whoa, this was a little not, I didn't see this coming. And so it balances that very, and especially with the relationship, this kind of mature kind of feel to the story, and being a fun, crazy game at the same time.
Okay, so here's my positives. Big positives.
Go for it.
Great web slinging mechanic. Just utterly fantastic.
So much
fun,
fun.
Unique combat.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say unique.
Oh, it was good. There was so much variety in the combat that you never felt like you just did the same combo.
Yeah, there's definitely tons of variety. Yeah. And especially as you start upgrading and getting new suits with different suit abilities, there's a ton of variety in this game.
It reminded me of kind of Ratchet and Clank I mean, it is Insomniac after all.
Yeah.
Immense amount of detail and polish this game. Like you're scaling windows and you see the inside of certain apartments. Not every single one of them, at least that I came across, looked the same. The streets like literally matched the map of New York City, which was really cool.
Which is super cool. That game is incredibly par for the course as far as, you know, making a New York.
I thought it was a great use of the side quests to garner immediate results. So whenever you completed one, you generally got some sort of upgrade, or it went immediately to an upgrade. You know, be it a new costume or new ability or what have you.
This game has no delayed satisfaction. Like, it is very, you do something, you're rewarded.
Assassin's Creed Origins, where it felt like I was grinding, and that's stupid for a single player experience. I shouldn't need to grind. Not to that extent, just doing side quests. Over 20 costumes to unlock with perks, which, here's what was really cool. You could stack the perks on your favorite costume. So let's say this one costume had a perk, but you wanted to wear this other one, you could put the upgrade on that one if you wanted.
Yeah.
That I think that was like one of the greatest quality of life.
Also the costumes are awesome in this game.
Oh yeah, they're all cool.
There's so much variety and they're fun design, and it's fun going around the city looking like that.
So the negatives. I thought the boss battles being basically at the end of the game, because I never even got to them really, was a miscue. I thought they could have spaced them out better in the game.
If you do the side quests, you run into a couple. But in the main story,
which though?
Yeah, you get one.
So huge.
Yeah, boss battle wise, you get one in the very beginning, and then you get one like a little
3.5
like 2
hours.
2 hours. I would say 2 hours into the game if you're just doing the main story, and then you get one like 3 hour or like another 2-3 hours later, and then you get a couple at the end.
Yeah, and then it's just bang, here's a bunch kind of deal. Yeah, they felt a little bit samey, but I think that had a lot to do with how the game wanted you to beat them. Like, it felt like every one was either a quick time event, or you're web slinging an environmental item into their face, and then you just button mash the beat up mechanics. I'm like, okay. So I definitely felt you on that one. They definitely felt a bit samey. I thought personally the non-Spider-Man sections sucked ass. The Mary Jane section, where you're just moving around a museum and stuff. I'm like, oh my god.
I thought it was interesting. I think it was a little long, but I thought it was an interesting gameplay. I think some of the stealth sequences with MJ were a little tedious.
I think you should have been Spider-Man and kind of utilizing your spider weapons to get her around the environments.
Yeah, I think that would have been a little more fun, other than having that one ability Peter gave MJ.
I don't want to be the fucking girl. I want to be
Spider-Man. I was okay with being MJ. I just wish it was had a little more variety. Yeah. I thought being MJ was really interesting, personally.
And then I think this is kind of a complaint I have with a lot of games, just in general, is I thought the rinse and repeat map elements in the use of, let's say, side quests in particular, they felt so samey to me. So, hear me out. I do like that you got the instant gratification. So therefore there was a reason to do it. Okay? The side quests themselves, so you had, I'm being robbed, chase these bad guys in a car. Same sequence there, every time. Find these certain areas are being polluted, go collect dust in the sky. Okay, those were all the same. And it goes, there's like 6-7 different ones, but those 6-7 different ones just repeat all along the map. So it had that kind of Ubisoft fill in the map,
which I like. Formula. By the way, I love that mechanic. I'm still not sick of it. I love the tower mechanic.
The tower mechanic, yeah, that's kind of what
tower and fortress mechanics I adore. Like Far Cry 4, I
to this point
I love it because it gives me a sense of progression, and then it gives me really fun challenges. And this game had the towers and it had the fortresses. And I think the stealth in this game with the spider abilities and stuff was all fantastic, and I enjoy that gameplay loop.
So I played 6 hours of this game, Drew. That's how long I played. That's not any small chunk of change, for sure. I didn't come across any of these side quest boss battles at all.
They're at the big end of these. They're at the end of the side quest story arcs.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
that's why.
It's like you do a whole story arc and then you have it at the end.
Yeah, I don't want to do like
fortresses,
15 collect dust in the air samples.
Did you do like the fortress stuff?
What do you mean?
Like, here's a gangster place, and you have to go in and kind of navigate. You can either try and fill it out whole stealth, or there'll be like a 3-wave combat scenario.
I just did a couple of those.
I think those are super fun.
So the other thing with the whole Spider-Man stealth versus go in there and just kick ass.
Yeah.
I didn't like how if you wanted to choose it to be stealthy, that as soon as you get seen, and this is
you can't try and get back to stealth.
Right, you can't get back to stealth, and that irritated me to no end. I'm like, well, then what's the point? I'll just go in there and then beat the shit out of everybody and not.
I like the challenge of trying not to make a mistake, but then I would beat the shit after that. You know,
it was too easy to get spotted. I don't think that's okay for a modern game.
Yeah,
it had that Assassin's Creed kind of negative on that end. So
right.
But yeah, that's Spider-Man. I think I would also give it like an 8 out of 10. Really, I don't think
I'd give it an 8.7.
It's not going to be my best game of the year by any means, but it's definitely making. I think it's.
I remember when I'm looking at and this is where I think this game falls. Sure. Where I think this game falls is when I'm looking at, in 5-6 years, I'm looking at, hey, what was some of my favorite experiences on the PlayStation 4? This will fall on that list.
Well, yeah, it's like one of 3 games.
I think there's a little more than 3 games on the PlayStation.
For 2018?
Oh, not for 2018, for the PlayStation 4 in general.
I'm talking 2018.
I think this is in my top. I think this is in my top PlayStation 4 5. The top 5 for the exclusives.
Oh, let's just top my head here. For exclusives, we got God of War. That came out this year.
Last of Us.
Bloodborne, Last of Us.
Uncharted 4, Bloodborne.
Uncharted 4, Horizon. I guess it's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just top of the head. Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah. I don't think I'd put Detroit Become Human or Until Dawn on there. They're a specific type of game. But yeah. Spider-Man good. I think it was the best game of the month for sure. God, I wish Transference was longer. Let's see. Tomb Raider was below par for what I wanted. What I expected, anyways. But yeah, September was, outside of the sports games and a few others, it was a pretty successful month for gaming. Let's take a look right fast on what we can expect in the next podcast as we record in November for the October releases.
Call of Duty.
We got Call of Duty, Ass Creed Odyssey, Super Mario Party, Forza Horizon 4, Mega Man 11, Battlefield 5. Wait, was Battlefield 5 delayed?
Yeah, it wasn't delayed. It's not. Oh, was it? Is that supposed to release this month?
Anyways, Red Dead 2 is coming out, and Starlink. I gotta move Call of Duty Black Ops 4 from November to October. Oh, and that PSVR game that's coming out, it's called Deracine. Like a French name.
Deracine?
Yeah.
I feel you. No, that's good. I like that.
So October is going to be probably just covering the games. Unless some crazy news comes out. But yeah. I think that does it. I think that does it for the podcast, Drew.
Is that it?
Drew, you know what you haven't done? A
what have I not done?
For yourself, for like your Twitch channel and everything and what you're doing. You're doing some crazy stuff with Call of Duties.
I am streaming Call of Duty every single fucking day. And if I don't stream, which is not going to happen very often, I will post that on my Twitter at Boogadaball. And my Twitch is at Boogadaball. I stream a lot, play COD a lot. I'm looking at competing at some of the major CWL Call of Duty World League events this season. I've really kind of been playing and doing kind of low-level competition for many years. And it's something I really want to try. It's hard because the level of esports competition is huge. And so I decided, I wrote on a whiteboard in my room, goals for the year. I was like, I'm going to play 3 events. I'm really going to put my heart and soul into this for 1 year and do my best. And it's been rough. It's hard.
I imagine so.
Because I'm playing like 8 hours, 6 hours after I work an 8-hour day. And then I'm playing 8 to 16 hours,
Ooh.
when I don't work.
Yeah, that's no
And
life.
I'm getting a pair of gunners because my eyes have been hurting. But it's no life, and it's weird. I'm seeing because I'm putting the work in that you need to put in to kind of do something like
gunners,
this.
man. I hope they still exist.
And then they don't exist. I checked.
Oh damn!
I've been putting in the work that you have to put in to do something like this, and that's a big deal. Putting your everything into something, and it's hard seeing kind of a life disappear because of that. And I never really thought of that, or I knew that, but I never really felt it. It was never really real,
Well,
when
fun,
you don't.
The podcast is getting you to take a little break.
I'm still playing. I've been playing this entire podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've been playing this entire podcast because the grind doesn't stop. Man. It's everything. I'm working. I'm trying to be the best in the world at something.
Yeah, but your mind's focusing on something else for the time being.
Yeah, but right now I'm just running around in public match, just kind of shooting stuff, which is good for, just muscle memory.
Yeah.
And then I'll watch this stream back later tomorrow at work when we have no customers and kind of take notes. So we're working hard. Yeah, every day, man. Streams are on.
So this has been the Red Leaf Retrocast podcast, the Modern Games Cast in particular, episode 14, 2018 of September is what we covered for the games, Tokyo Game Show. If you enjoyed the episode, I hope you enjoyed the episode, head on over to iTunes or Stitcher Smart Radio and leave us a review. We definitely do not have enough of them. I want more. I need more. I
love reviews. I get off on that shit.
We haven't gotten a review in so long. We need them.
Yeah, we need them. Review us.
If you want to see more of at least me live stream, I do have Drew here's all his information in the description below, just like I do every episode of every podcast. Also have the Red Leaf Retrocast YouTube channel, Twitch, Mixer, Periscope. We're on everything. For every live
we're on more things than I'm
episode. And if you want to get the better quality or any of the backlog from any episode in the past, it's all on a number of platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio,
I remember
FM player, like anything that's like tied to iTunes or anything. We're on that. I think the only thing we're not on still is SoundCloud because it's like a separate total service. But
is it?
Yeah. You got to pay for a separate service for SoundCloud.
Oh, to put stuff on SoundCloud, you have to pay.
Yeah. So we're on Podbean. That's our little host site. That's our RSS feed. Yeah, definitely head on over, leave us a nice little review, check us out in the future, and I hope to
watch
see
my
you guys.
stream.
Yeah, hope to see you guys in some of the streams in the future.
Yeah,
hope to see a review.
Yeah, leave reviews.
I think we're out.
We're done, man. Have a good day, everybody. Peace.
Alrighty, that was that.
That was an episode, man. Good shit, bro.
Fun.
Fun.
Oh.
I'm tired. I've let this destroy my sleep schedule.
Late stream, not a lot of people joined.
Yeah. I mean, I've let the games destroy my sleep schedule, so I'm awake. How's life for you? How's life been?
Fine enough.
Anything new?
Just job interviews.
Nothing. You find a job yet?
No. Still.
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, I have my part-time gig. That's just paying the bills.
What's your part-time again?
Translations.
What's your part-time?
Translations.
Oh, what are you translating?
German.
Oh, German stuff. Yeah. Sorry. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well.
No. How's that going?
Send me your audio file, Drew, as soon as possible.
Yep. It's exporting right now.
I can get this episode out on I'll get it out on Wednesday. That'll be a nice day.
Sick.
Nice day for it. Hump day.
Hump day. Yeah, it's exporting, so.
Alright, man. Send me that shit. And I'm gonna eat some food here. Chill for the rest of the night.
Alright, you have a good night, alright, bro?
Later, man. Maybe I'll hop in. You know what? Depending on my voice, it's probably better I rest it for a few days.
Yeah.
I might hop into more streams with you. Just hang out.
Yeah, man. I'd love to see you. I'm just playing the game, you know.